Here's something interesting. Some of the most careful, responsible Christians you'll ever meet, the ones who budget, who tithe, who never miss a payment, still feel a quiet unease every time they check their bank balance. Not because they're in debt, not because they don't trust God. Something deeper is happening underneath the numbers. Jesus once told a story about a man who handled money about as wisely as anyone could and still missed something that mattered eternally. Today I want to walk through 4 quiet signs that your stewardship may already be drifting somewhere Scripture warns about. Here's what makes this tricky. Saving money isn't the problem. Scripture actually commends it as part of faithful stewardship. But there's a fine line between a savings account that works like a tool and one that quietly becomes a foundation. Think of a man who builds a wall around his house for protection. Wise. But if he starts living inside the wall instead of inside the house, something has shifted. Most people never notice the moment that shift happens with their own money. If you've ever felt that small flicker of unease staring at a balance that's actually fine, you're exactly who this channel is for. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to Stewarded Mind, because we're about to look honestly at what your savings might be quietly protecting you from and what wisdom looks like instead. Number 1 is what I'd call invisible padding. A man sets a savings goal, say 3 months of expenses, and he hits it. He should feel settled. Instead, almost without thinking, he quietly raises the number. 6 months, then a little more. He doesn't tell his wife he moved the goalpost again. He's not even fully aware he did it himself. Proverbs commends planning ahead, so this doesn't look like sin from the outside. It looks responsible. But underneath, the number was never really about the expenses. It was about the feeling the number gave him, and that feeling kept needing more to stay calm. The second pattern shows up in how he responds when someone actually needs that money. A friend calls, going through something hard, and asks if he could help. He says he'll think about it, which is true, and also isn't. There's a tightness in his chest he wasn't expecting, given that he can genuinely afford it. He's surprised by his own hesitation. It isn't greed exactly. It's closer to the rich fool in Luke 12, the one who built bigger barns and told his own soul, "You have ample goods laid up for many years," speaking to himself about his security instead of speaking to God about it. Number 3 is quieter than the first 2. It shows up in prayer. He prays often and sincerely, but notice what he's actually asking for. Lord, keep what we have safe. Rarely, Lord, show me what to do with what we have. One is asking God to guard a wall, the other is asking God to walk through the house with him. He's not being dishonest in either prayer, he just hasn't noticed which one he defaults to when no one's listening. And the fourth sign is the easiest to miss because it feels like nothing's wrong. He checks his balance, not to plan, not to budget, just to feel okay. 1 week, an ordinary expense drops the number more than usual, and the unease that follows is out of proportion to the actual amount. That's the tell. The balance has quietly become an emotional thermostat instead of a financial tool, something regulating his peace instead of reflecting his stewardship. This is exactly the moment Jesus was pointing to in that parable. The man in Luke 12 wasn't condemned for having a good harvest or even for storing it. God calls him a fool for one specific reason. He started talking to his own soul the way he should have been talking to God. The barns weren't the problem. The conversation he was having with them was. Money itself was never the real test in that story. Where his soul went to find rest, that was. None of this means saving is wrong, or that having margin makes you unfaithful. It means there's a quieter question worth asking than, how much should I save? And it's, who is this number actually talking to? A steward holds resources with open hands, ready to be moved by God, even while planning responsibly. A man guarding his soul holds them with a closed fist and calls it wisdom. The difference isn't the amount in the account, it's who you're really trusting to keep you safe when you look at it. So the next time you check your balance and feel that small familiar flicker, pause before you explain it away. It might not be anxiety. It might be an invitation to ask what that number has quietly been doing in your heart. If this is the first time you've put words to that flicker, go back and watch my video on why your scarcity mindset lies to you about your financial progress. It goes even deeper into where that feeling actually starts. I'm Stewarded Mind, and I'll see you in the next reflection.